Tip number 1, always check your seat cushions. There was a big old bee on that. All right, welcome friends to another Garden Tip Tuesday. Hey garden friends, yeah, I moved over here so you can see the hummers behind me. Hopefully they're coming around. They were so busy, and when I sit over there, you miss it. All right, today we're going to talk about 5 tasks that you can get done this first week at the beginning of September to get ready for the next season or to wind things down before the cooling off period. Now, you may already have cool temperatures. Next week, we're supposed to be down into the upper 70s, nights in the lower 50s, and that's beautiful weather to do many of these tasks. And some of them I will wait till then, but others I will do this week. And I'll tell you what. Now, many of these tasks, I already have videos that I've done, and if I don't get to them or videoing these tasks for you, I will make sure and link to the ones I already have done. Some of them are older. I mean, they're like 8 years old. I find them so distracting. I'm so sorry. Okay, let's get rolling on our tasks to get done this beginning of September. You can even do this in the second week of September. Our first frost date is mid-October to mid-November. It changes every year, so we'll see. We even had snow the 1st of October, so I may be pushing it here. So let's get rolling on our tasks. Before I take you out in the garden to show you a few of the things that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to share with you one thing. Whoops, overshot the runway. This is a geranium, pelargonium, however you want to pronounce it. I just watered it so it's dripping, that I want to get cuttings from. This has been so beautiful all summer long. I have it in a container against the wall at the base of some climbing plants, and I want to take cuttings of it so I have more for next year. I may decorate my whole deck next year with this color, maybe with a blue. So we'll see. You see, I have the more fuchsia pink. This is more of a coral pink, salmon pink. Yeah, all is good. So I'm going to start taking cuttings of this. Now, I may do a video this week on doing that. That remains to be seen. If you want me to do a new video on that, I will. I have shared others where I've done it in the winter in my greenhouse. I've overwintered these in the windows of my home or my studio, but I've also overwintered them in my greenhouse. So I have a video on 4 ways to overwinter geraniums, and I share with you all 4 ways. The most successful for me has been to plop the whole plant, pot and all, in the basement. And the second one is to overwinter them in a windowsill indoors. So those are my 2 favorite ways. These are the fuchsia pink petunias I got that I wanted to go with a cool, beautiful pink. And then these orchid colored geraniums. These I started from cuttings last year, and I had enough to fill this container, and then slowly, and this container with the geraniums. So here's the one, then there's the other one back there. So that's the beauty of taking cuttings of your pelargoniums, geraniums, and then you have enough for matching containers, if that's your vibe, the next season. Now these will be overwintered. I may overwinter the entire container in my new greenhouse and see how that works. Now, of course, the cosmos is an annual and it will not overwinter, but the ivy, and I'm hoping this evolvulus will. It's closed right now. It closes in the morning. It's a morning glory type plant, so it will open up soon. Do you see this hardy geranium? Yes. This is based right here, but it's scrambling along, and it's bringing this beautiful color to the rose cottage garden. And it's blooming beneath, it's scrambling through my roses, And this is Roseanne, hardy geranium, Roseanne. And I have another one down by the Primrose Cottage, and up at the corner of the property. This is a plant that thrives here, does beautiful. It blooms nonstop once it starts. Perfect for the garden. This is something I'm going to dig up and divide. And I already have a video on how to divide hardy geraniums, and it's exactly how I do it. I may remake it. It may be poor. I haven't seen it in a while. So stay tuned for that, and or go view the old one. So what is this, task number 3? So here are some late blooming hollyhocks. These are later blooming than my others because I had chopped these way back when they first emerged because they were riddled with rust. For some reason, when I chop them back hard and let them re-come out or regrow, then there isn't rust on, or very little rust on them. So I can enjoy my hollyhocks without the horrible rust. Now some plants, sorry, I thought a bee was on me. Some hollyhocks I do let bloom earlier, and I just cut the rusty leaves off, and therefore I get the blooms and I don't have to worry about the rust. But others I'll cut back, like these, pollinator favorites, and let them regrow. And then I have hollyhocks later in the season after having the first ones. And then the whole point was collecting seeds. See, I get going. These will go to seed in the next month, and I will collect the seeds. I love the white with the green center. Now these ones, they haven't opened up as pretty as they usually do, as big. And I'm not sure why that is, but it could have been the cooler than normal temperatures this year. We've had some really cool nights, all of the above. But I will be sure, collect seeds from your late blooming perennials so that you can reseed them where you want them. You can also let them drop in place. They'll come back up, all of the above. So I think that's task number 3, collecting late blooming perennial seeds. I have right over here, let me point you down. I have a black-eyed Susan that's later blooming. This is coming up in the crack of the sidewalk. So tough plant, gets very little to no water. Task number 4, continue to deadhead perennials that you're not worried about them going to seed. If this was an echinacea that I wanted to be sure and get seeds from, I would let it go to seed or leave a few blooms to go to seed. But you see here, new blooms coming. This is a hybrid, sterile hybrid. I will not get seeds from it that will grow. So I deadhead so that it can keep blooming and I can enjoy the color until first frost. So this is related to the first task, and that's taking cuttings from perennials that you want to start more of. This golden sage is absolutely fantastic in my garden. I have a row of it growing down in the secret cottage garden as a front of the border edging. It does beautiful. I know I want more of that, so I'm going to take cuttings of this, root it. I'll have it in 4-inch pots ready to go out if it's large enough, because it usually should root within a few weeks. If we don't get an early frost, I will go ahead and put it right out in the garden. But if not, I will let it sit outside. It's very hardy here. I don't know exactly the hardiness zones for this. I'll find out and put up on the screen. But if it wasn't going to make it over the winter, I would leave it in my greenhouse, and or I would try in the windowsill of my home in a little 4-inch pot. Keep on fertilizing your annuals to get them to continue to bloom till the first frost. Now, the ticket is you want to use a water-soluble or a liquid feed that feeds immediately. If you use a granular feed, no matter what brand, it takes a while for it to be broken down so that the plants can use it. It takes at least 3 to 4 weeks. So if you don't have that much longer to go in your season, then you want to make sure you use a liquid feed. I prefer organic. And the eco-organic I use is immediately drawn up by the plants and usable. So also that it won't burn. like others can burn or during hot times. Now you don't want to always feed during hot time. I did. I fed right through when we had 90 degrees. That's because I could dilute it, and because plants or the pots like this, the nitrogen especially gets leached out very quickly. If you dilute it, the feed, then it can feed it without burning. Even if you did it full strength, it wouldn't burn. I just make sure that I dilute it during hot times. So that being said, make sure from here on out to keep on fertilizing your annuals to keep them blooming right up until first frost. Well, I hope I didn't get too wordy or too long in this. I try to keep these 10 to 15 minutes, and I have to cut out a lot usually. So anyways, make sure you keep watering if you need to. We haven't had any rain. I don't expect any rain for another few weeks. If we do, it's not enough to keep the garden watered. And when you're going into winter, you want your plants to be well hydrated. You want them to be their healthiest so that they can get through winter. So a lot of areas, I know you guys get a lot more rain than we do here in California. So just bear in mind that it's relative to your area and how much rain or precipitation you get from now until a hard freeze. Like many times we won't get a lot of rain before we get our first hard frost. So that being said, keep on watering if you need to. In fact, I was watering today. I had a lot of droopy plants because it got quite hot today. In fact, I'm dripping right now, but that's okay. I love summer. This year, I have really enjoyed my summer. I don't know. I know a lot of you have had some rough weather for this summer. Your gardens have really struggled, and I'm sorry about that. This has been a stellar year for my garden and for the hummingbirds that are going crazy around here. And yeah, so I've really enjoyed it. And I was just thinking today, because we went to a big garden center. I'll share that with you in another video coming up. But they had a lot of fall stuff out, like for Halloween and pumpkins and pumpkin decor. They didn't have their pumpkins in yet. I think that's going to be in the next few weeks. But yeah, and usually I resent it. I resent seeing all that too soon. And this year I'm like, okay, I'm okay with it. But it could be because I'm going to have a big greenhouse to play in all winter, and we will see how that rolls. So that being said, I'll share with you what it looks like right now, the update on the greenhouse and where it's at. And you probably will be very surprised by my next video how far it has gotten. Or maybe not. I'm not sure how things will play out this week. So I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. So here we are, the 1st of September, and the floor is insulated and the plywood is down for the subfloor. We are going to put down a coat of polyurethane on this and then decide what kind of flooring to use. We're thinking of the stick-down tiles that can be replaced as they get damaged, like linoleum tiles, but that's still to be decided. So the greenhouse is coming along.